Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into Jame's peculiar romance and what happens 5 years later. Under her grandfather and mother's care, mixed-race Kiwisu grew up, her looks obscuring her racial background. However, the other kids on the farm were relentless in their teasing and insults, all because of her skin color. From a distance, James saw the scene unfold and, filled with anger, rushed over to disperse the kids surrounding Kiwisu, worriedly asking what had happened. James hugged his hurt daughter, but lacked the courage to admit he was her father. Meanwhile, it was lunchtime, and the James family was gathered around the table. His wife, Licky, suddenly announced her pregnancy, and he beamed like a child at his best joy. Then, like he had just chugged a Red Bull, James footed the outrageous idea of bringing 5-year-old Kiwisu to the big house to train her as naturally. His wife shot that idea down like a duck in a shooting gallery, and even the old lady thought it was ludicrous. Staring down her stubborn husband, Licky felt a wave of injustice but ultimately surrendered to reality. And so, Kiwisu was whisked off to the mansion by her mom, and to this day, the young lady still harbored resentment toward, "You can leave, but I still haven't met little Kiwisu." Of course, this is another home, not another country. But no, it's the master's call, and I disagree. Annie knew her place in this twisted family, but all she wanted was for her daughter to have a better life. Despite her heavy heart, she was willing to dedicate her life to changing Kiwisu's fate. Time flew by, and soon it was 1860. Anna's daughter Kiwisu and Licky's daughter Jai blossomed into beautiful young ladies, and despite being master and servant, they were practically sisters. Additionally, they were half-sisters with the same father, but neither had any idea. As Annie gazed at her daughter from afar, no one knew her complex feelings. Florence's town buzzed with youth eager to enlist. The North was challenging the South, aiming to abolish slavery, and just as the parents went out shopping, 2 young soldiers were leering at Prit. So Jai took Kiwisu for a deliberate stroll on the street, trying hard to catch the guy's eyes. The mixed-race girl's beauty was clearly captivating, and a rookie ignored Kiwisu's protests. Thankfully, Jai swooped in to save the day, but made it a point to emphasize Kiwisu was their slave. What a funny statement. After learning the truth, the boy looked disgusted and made disrespectful remarks. Upon arriving home, Kiwisu hurried to Anna's room, urgently asking about her father. Annie, quite sensitive about the matter, hesitated not for a second to shut down the topic. Perhaps out of love for her daughter, she lacked the courage to confront her past mistakes. That night, James arrived at Anna's. With the Civil War imminent, she joined the Confederate Army to safeguard staff interests. This farewell left them unsure when they'd meet again. War's brutality made Annie shed tears. As for the man in front of her, her feelings of reluctance were just a shade of the deep love she held for him. No matter how much she had endured, her love for him remained steadfast. The next day, the so-called protectors of their home began their journey, bidding farewell to this big family. Watching James disappear into the distance, Annie finally mustered the courage to tell her daughter that man was indeed her biological father. Fast forward to July 1860, when war was raging between the North and the South. During a battle in Virginia, many Southern soldiers faced tragedy, including James, who was gravely injured. Meanwhile, a sudden outbreak hit his home state of Alabama. Young Jai was critically ill, and kind Annie, fearing the young lady might also catch it, went to find her. But she stumbled upon a rare sight. Her father was at her home. Hearing Annie, fearing for the husband's well-being, firmly refused him to come near the sick Jai, deciding to care for her herself. Unexpectedly, hard-working Quinn and the old lady in the fields received a letter from James, stating he was being sent home as a wounded soldier. Just as the old lady was about to break the news to Annie, she noticed Anna's pale face and constant coughing. Clearly, she had caught the illness too, and a dark cloud loomed over this tragedy-stricken family. Finally, on a sunny morning, James returned home after a long time away as a wounded soldier. Subtitles. Licky excitedly sprinted towards her husband, as James' return seemed to bring unprecedented hope to everyone. Later, Licky took James to their daughter's grave, a disease having cruelly claimed her life. This filled newly returned James with guilt, and sadly, Annie never got to see her beloved come home. She closed her eyes. When James stood by her body, he mourned deeply for the woman who had given everything for him. At that moment, he had kept vigil by her side for so long, quietly saying farewell. 2 months later, James, now healed, quickly gathered a unit and was promoted to colonel. However, his staff were about to face an unprecedented crisis. One day, the slaves on the farm rushed in, faces filled with alarm. War was nearing its end, and trouble was brewing. The northern troops began swaggering in the south, pillaging even James' home for supplies. In her innocence, Quinn attempted to intervene, only to be caught off guard by an assault from a soldier behind her. As a result, her grandfather heard her cries for help and rushed in to intervene. Upon learning the girl was black, the officer's brutality worsened, pushing Grandpa into a corner and beating him wildly. ***, don't forget to like and subscribe for more exciting content coming your way. ***.